are back.
We are back, bumblebees.
Season 2, episode 14 of the To Be Better podcast. And for those of you who don't know, I am one of your hosts. My name is Chris.
And I'm the other host. My name is Peaches.
And we answer emails from listeners and give our unbiased opinions about things that are happening in their life in ways that they can find new ways to communicate better, improve their social skills, relationships, etc. And we are not licensed therapists. We are not coaches. I guess technically we are coaches, but we are not counselors, psychiatrists, or anything of the sort.
We didn't go to school for this. This is all life lessons.
Yeah, zero letters behind our names. So,
well, I mean, we buy books from doctors.
that does not count.
Listen to seminars from doctors. So I think that the information that we are spreading is pretty well verified. It's not just things we're making up.
No, it's definitely not things that we're making up.
Yeah.
But we can't can't use the doctor's letters.
We're not doctors.
By proxy.
Got that Grey's Anatomy certificate.
But our goal is to enhance your life. So hopefully you get something from this, but take everything they say with a grain of sand because we are not licensed anything.
No, everything in life should be taken with a grain of sand, especially on the internet.
Yep.
So I heard some things today.
Okay.
I'm trying to be productive in the morning. I want to bring my energy up from low periods of energy, right? I'm replacing depression with low energy. Because when you give a demon a name, it has power, or you have power over it, something like that. Whatever the Poltergeist movie said.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, sounds like some TV stuff.
I was listening to Jordan B. Peterson this morning as I was cleaning our kids' rooms. And he said, in regards to a marriage or a long-term relationship, a commitment, 2 fragmentary creatures produce 1 reasonably coherent unity. And I instantly thought of us on the podcast, and I was like, oh my God, he's so right. And that unity emerges from the interplay of their personalities. The podcast. You and he, or you and her, both have weaknesses, so you pick up where they can't, and you capitalize on your mutual strengths, and together, each of you is better than you would have been alone, because why get married otherwise?
I agree.
These 2 creatures combined creates 1 sane unit.
A team.
A team. I heard that and I just, with what you and I have built within our relationship and our marriage and the life that we have created and nurtured and watered, and it's so cozy. It's nice and warm. It's like sitting next to a fireplace while it's gently raining outside and it's like 65 degrees because I'm always cold. And then I thought, some people's common ground's a battleground. We have so much peace and harmony. You looked at me the other day and you were like, you know what I've thought about? We have not had a disruption in months.
I was actually going to bring that up today. I know we're not supposed to be doing a whole lot of banter before emails, but I actually planned on bringing that up today.
Okay, so we'll revisit that a little bit later.
No,
but
we can talk about it now, and then we'll just
okay.
jump into emails. But so on that, the last time we had a major, so let me back up because I'm going to tell you how I got there.
Okay.
There are a lot of people in our Discord that will pull clips of our podcast and post it in Discord because a moment makes them cry, or it's their golden nugget or a realization for themselves. And because that's their moment, I watch those clips when they come up every time. And one of them was a clip that got posted to Facebook of us in the other room, the gray room that we had, that we were live streaming in.
Were we in the white chairs or were we at the live table?
We were in the white chairs. So
Okay.
we were in the other room, and it might have been in this room.
We were in white chairs.
That doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant.
Right. I'm just trying to remember the moment.
The point of the conversation was I was apologizing for my reacting out of borderline, and we were having a discussion, and I was telling you that I was taking accountability, telling you how I was going to work to change it, blah, 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 blah. And people were like, this is so amazing. And I was like, it's crazy that you feel that way because the amount of hate that I got from that video, because people are like, oh, he's blaming his mental illness instead of actually taking accountability, which is what they preach to do. And I'm like, I actually did take accountability. I was explaining why I react the way that I do and how I plan on fixing those things. So I was giving a solution sandwich.
I've seen people comment on that video that you're talking of saying that his apology means absolutely nothing because he used his mental illness as a scapegoat.
Yeah, I get ripped apart over that. So
absolutely blows my mind, because in that moment it was one of the most meaningful things. Like the self-awareness and the balls enough to apologize for it. It was a very sweet thing.
Well, that video came up and we talked about it in Discord. So then I realized, like, that happened early last year, between probably March and June.
Yeah, about a year ago.
We have not had a disruption in our life since July of last year. Since July of 2023, we have not had a single disruption, not an elevated conversation. There has not been feelings hurt. There has not been a reactive statement in the event that somebody's come to each other for something. We had one situation where we were driving home from somewhere and we had other people in the vehicle and we were trying to have a conversation in code that became a problem because we weren't able to effectively talk to each other. But the issue wasn't the issue. The issue was that we were trying to have a conversation in code.
Yeah.
And it failed miserably.
It did.
Because communication needs to be direct a lot of the time with me. So,
yeah.
But other than that one instance, which should have just waited until we got home and been a normal conversation, became something it should have been, which I'm not going to count as a disruption, because had that been any other circumstances, it would not have been an issue. So it's been almost a year since there has been any type of nonsense with us.
How does that feel?
Insane. Because most people go through bi-weekly or weekly ordeals where
daily
they get frustrated with something or something doesn't pan out the way that they want it to, and it becomes a fucking problem. So I don't know. It's just a lot to think about.
I feel like we're two koi fish, just gently swimming around in our little pond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of the things that made the podcast so successful in the beginning of this is that we were still having disruptions in our life and we were working through them, and then we were telling people how we were working through them, and we were living by example. And I think one of the issues that we have now is we no longer have those relatable moments, and there's no way for us to give those life lessons because we are not having those issues anymore. So like, I think that our podcast and our life has changed because of the podcast,
right?
And because of those moments. And now I wonder where's going to be those next relatable clips for new people who are coming to the podcast.
Just recycle old ones then.
Yeah, I mean,
post episode numbers.
We can.
Even fake disruptions.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
No, I value my peace too much to have all that happening right now.
Yeah.
I think that I need to try to have a little bit more humility when we read emails. Humility is probably not the right word. I need to have a little bit more grace, because I find myself getting super fucking annoyed with some of the ones that we've been reading lately.
I get that, yeah.
And I was told by Big Papa Zach that my annoyance can come across as a problem, especially to people who were in abusive situations.
Yeah.
They can see that in my body language, and it
More
can be
of a softer
triggering for
soul.
them. Right.
Yeah.
And though I don't feel like I should change who I am to cater to those people, because it's not everyone, and my authenticity means more to me than sugarcoating something for somebody. I do think that I need to work on my grace.
Maybe it's the delivery.
Yeah, I get more the delivery is why I'm here than
Okay.
the delivery is why I've left. So I'm not willing to change that. I just need to dial it back a little bit. I need to remember that if these people were here having a conversation with me, I would be talking to them instead of talking at them.
Right.
And I would be able to ask them questions versus just reading an email where you're shitting on somebody the whole time and not taking accountability, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah. That's why I think the Zoom calls and like radio show phone call type deal is going to be the next evolution, because it adds in the human factor into it.
yeah.
Email's just written text on a screen.
Well, and it's also bullshit.
Yeah, you can tell when somebody's lying when you're talking to them.
Well, it's more than that. Sorry, guys. My
Body
cable,
language.
We swapped all the microphones out yesterday and tested new mics and did not like them. So we're back to our old microphones, and I don't like my cable being fucked up.
People also won't say things that are inclining to a lie in person versus than they will with email.
People will absolutely still lie in person. But
Right.
But what they won't do is if they have their person with them, if we were interviewing two people, they're not going to push all of that shade onto that one person with that one person sitting there, because they know they can't play the victim if their person's going to go, wait a minute, that's not true.
Right.
And that's where that bullshit comes in. I don't think that people are necessarily lying. I do think that they are stretching things. This falls into the conversation that we had in the stories episode where it takes 4 to 5 reiterations of a story before the truth really comes out, because the first rendition is a victim, and then a little less victim, and a little more truth, and a little more truth, and then the full story really comes to light when they're calm and not in an emotional mindset.
I made a note on Wednesday that I watched a video from Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was talking about how he was selected for jury duty. And they went through the trial. They're talking to the judge, or the trial's getting ready to begin. And the judge asks about, well, how do we feel about, we only have eyewitness testimony. There's no physical evidence within this trial. And everyone was okay with it except for Neil. And Neil was like, I don't know about that, because witnesses can be very unreliable, especially if they're speaking from traumatic memories.
Yep.
And the judge repeats back to him what he just heard, but in a really super shitty way. And another juror jumped in and said, Judge, that's not what he just said.
Right.
And Neil was like, you were a witness to what I just said 10 seconds ago, and you got it wrong. Mm-hmm. So I delved into the research a little bit more. There aren't really statistical numbers on eyewitness accounts, because when I Googled it, it was more related towards crime. So to put this more into like a relationship aspect, if somebody's in a car accident, the first time they tell a story, or the iteration, like you said, is, well, they ran the red light. And then 3 days later, it was like, well, maybe their light was yellow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, their light was green. I may have ran my yellow turn signal.
Yeah.
The turning light, whatever it was. So like you said, every iteration becomes more true. And then I made a note of, well, how can you be certain you heard what you just heard? So in moments of disruptions, when energies are heightened and there's trauma being exposed and that wound's being dug at, can you really trust what's going on? Because all of these filters are on your lenses right now. It's so important to take that step back and take a deep breath.
Yeah. Well, we had that in the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
We had that one real episode that like we had to stop recording, and like I was super angry, and like I thought you were attacking me and shit because of what was being said. And when I went back and edited the video, that's not at all what had happened. And we had I had a huge meltdown over that. Mm-hmm.
It's reality shifting.
It is, because you trust your senses. You
trust
have
your
to.
experience.
Right. So, but sometimes the way that you view the situation isn't really the way the situation is. Mm-hmm. And that's very prevalent with people who have CPTSD, PTSD, and borderline.
Yeah.
I'm reading another John Deloney book right now. And one of those books that he's talking about anxiety, and how anxiety is nothing more than an alarm system. Mm-hmm. Something's not right. You're alone. You're in danger. You're reliving a past traumatic experience. And he said that if you were T-boned as a child in a car, every time somebody comes up too close to a stop sign or too fast, you're going to flinch because you were T-boned.
Right.
And that's accurate because of my motorcycle accident. Anytime somebody comes to a stop sign too quickly, I panic. Like I feel I put my foot on the brake and I'm getting ready to maneuver or like, you know what I mean? And it happens every single time. And I don't realize I'm doing it until afterwards when I'm like,
you're finally
because
taking
I'm
that
holding
deep
my
breath.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's absolutely a thing the body remembers.
Yeah, I'm really trying to teach the kids that right now. Oh man, raising children is such a beautiful experience. How long have we been going for?
15 minutes. Earlier, when giving the disclaimer, we did not mention that everything that we talk about comes from lived life experiences. We have failed a lot. We have done a lot of growth, a lot of self-help books, a lot of online seminars, coaching classes, things of that nature to try to be better people. And we are relaying that information to you guys. I'm only bringing this up a second time because we are starting to get comments now where people are like, what degrees do you have? What
None.
makes you qualified to have these conversations? We're not qualified to have these conversations. These are opinions.
Right. This is also community though.
Right.
Right. When you think of tribal elders, none of them had certificates in the things that they were talking about. Right. It was just gathered knowledge.
Yep. I'm really hung up on TikTok comments this morning.
I know. That's why I try not to spend any time on TikTok.
Yeah. I'm trying to continue to grow the channel. We got to 1 million super fucking fast, and then it just stopped. Same thing with YouTube. We got to 150, 100,000 came super quick, and then it's taken us almost a year to get to 170. We're not even there yet. Like it's slowed down, and I'm trying to understand what's happening, and So I have to read the negative comments because there is truth in those comments. And if one person has the balls to say it, a lot of people may feel that way. So I'm trying to data research and understand what's happening. But it sucks because there can be 10,000 positive comments and one bad comment's going to stand out.
Right.
And I need to understand. And sometimes it's a feminist. I ignore them. Sometimes it's somebody who just genuinely doesn't like us or thinks that we're fake or whatever it is that they feel. And that's fine. But there could be criticism there that could be worked on. I just have to get past the fact that they're assholes about it instead of being polite, or, hey, why don't you guys try this kind of thing?
Into the email?
Yes.
This one is titled 24 Years Together, Not Sure When We'll Make 25. Dear Chris and Peaches, I love your show so much. I desperately need advice, so here's my life in a nutshell. I'm struggling to hold on to this relationship. I'm sad, but don't know where to go or what the steps should be. I want to save it, but I don't see how. Backstory. Hubs and I have 2 homes in 2 different cities. They are 1.5 hours apart from each other. House A was bought so I could be a stay-at-home mom and run a business. My idea behind that was so that I could at least cover the mortgage, so it was some financial weight removed from him. We sold our previous home to buy home A, so he obviously agreed to it. So there was some financial weight off of him. Okay, so she wants to start a business to help with the finances. The house wasn't bought so she could start her business. Over the course of 8 years at home A, he began to hate his commute to work. That was at least an hour and became resentful.
Is it that he became resentful or that he regrets buying the house so far away from his job? Because it's 2 very different things.
It is 2 different things.
Right? You can love the house and hate the commute. It doesn't necessarily make you resentful. What's he resentful for?
Right. What is the reason behind the emotion?
Right. Verbiage matters, guys.
It does matter. Now I'm questioning. So they sold the previous home. Obviously, he agreed to it.
Right.
Well, did he really agree to it? Was the commute always an issue for him? Or was that something you guys even considered before buying the house?
It probably wasn't considered, right? And time frame could matter too.
Yeah.
Inflation's a motherfucker right now. People are spending $100 to fill their gas tank. Maybe when they did this, however long it was, they were able to fill their gas tank for $40.
Right. Now it could be costing
right.
90, 100.
Maybe there was an economic boom in their town. And what was normally a very easy commute is now a traffic jam and nonsense, Things evolve.
Yeah. Things do evolve. There was a point in time where I was driving 2 hours to get to work one way.
Yeah. But you did it.
I did do it. I had to. I had rent to pay. I had 2 kids I was supporting.
I also think that people agree to sacrifices
when they're happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Even more so when they're happy. But I think that they agree to sacrifices thinking that they have the ability to make it work, but shit will wear on people over time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get too hung up on the commute. I think it's important to recognize those things. And to use the word resentful, I want to know why you use that word.
He began to stay at his cousin's home to be closer, and he would come home on the weekends. This started to create tensions since I had 2 babies by then and was still running the business. This started to create tension since we had 2 babies by then and was still running the business.
Did she say I?
She did say I.
Okay, so you're correcting it to we.
I am correcting it, unless he is not the father of the children.
Okay. I think there's something else going on here. It's not the commute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be.
That does add an extra 3 hours to your day.
The commute?
Yeah, so your 8-hour workday becomes an 11-hour day, right? It's a long day, but that gives you an hour and a half of silent time to and from.
Yeah.
And if he wants to go to the gym, he could hit the gym before he drives back and then have that hour of decompression to relax after the gym, have his protein shake. Like, there's just, I don't know. There's more, it's more than the commute. That's right. It's not the commute.
If everything else in life is filling the cup, me personally, when I look back at that time when I was driving 4 hours round trip for work, I hated everything in my life. I was miserable. I was single. I was toxic to myself, putting myself in very negative thought processes that were just cycling. If I had you and I had the happiness that I have now, I would drive 4 hours every day to work. I don't care. Because I know when I get home, my man's going to love up on me and the kids are going to be excited to see me and there's going to be a good home cooked meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would wear on you after a while.
It would definitely be tiring, but I would find ways to make it enjoyable. If it's what had to be done, 100%, yeah. There's a maturity that comes with that, though. It's so easy to bitch about things.
Right. It's also, if he started feeling that way, he could have started looking for another job.
That's true.
You know, there's just things that could have happened. I don't know. I think that there's more to that than the commute. I'm going to just leave it at that.
I think we're problem solving, though. A lot of people don't go down avenues of solutions. They just see the problem and go, I fucking hate this.
Right. But you're right. And they don't identify what the problem is. And we're throwing hypotheticals at it. And it could actually be the commute. I just don't think that it is.
Right.
But I'm from my standpoint, if I had to drive it, I've driven an hour and a half each way for work. That's me time alone.
Right.
I enjoy that. Unless I'm in a traffic jam, then it ruins my entire fucking day, because if you're on an interstate, traffic shouldn't stop moving.
I love it. It means I can stop and look at all the trees I have never been able to look at before because I'm always going 85 miles an hour.
Yeah, I hate everything about a traffic jam. I don't even like it when people push their brakes.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, how dare them slow down.
I agree that this is less about the commute. You said that a couple of times. I think that the commute is kind of the focal point. Right? So I'm reading the book Radium Girls. Radium collects and deposits within the body. It's all over the body. It is found in everything, but there are select places like the jawbone where it really just focuses its attention and just decimates everything. The ruin of a relationship is like radium in the body. It's everywhere. Hyperfixating on just one point of it, though, and going, okay, this is the main symptom, is not the logical thing to do, it's very narrow-minded. In Radium Girls, the doctors that did that, they were unable to connect, because even though it would collect in the jaw, it might collect in somebody's hip.
Yeah.
Or it would collect in somebody's foot. So the deposits of radium were collecting in certain spots, but it was 3 girls might be the same. 6 other girls might have something the same that's different from the 3. So if you're not paying attention to everything and connecting the dots, you're missing the whole big picture. You're just focusing on this one small puzzle piece. Was that cohesive?
Yeah. But after watching Dr. House, you're treating the symptoms and not the cause. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
I can't believe you just said that to me. And it actually hurt my feelings.
Oh, fuck. It's such a good show.
It's a fantastic show.
He's such a dick. I love it.
You have to identify the symptoms to identify the cause. My feelings are really hurt. I'm defending myself a little bit. I feel like I gotta protect my moat.
Your moat?
Yeah.
You can defend your analogy, babe.
Thank you. We decided to separate 2 months after our third was born. He was renting home B closer to work. After 6 months, he started saying he missed me and wanted me to be with him. We reconciled after he agreed to marriage counseling. Then kids and I moved into home B. My sister ran the business and lived in home A. So there was always a solution.
There is always a solution. You just have to find it.
Right. I wonder why people get to the breaking point and actually letting things fall apart, making it harder on themselves to fix it before actually finding something that works.
Because it's easier to suppress than it is to address.
That needs to go on a t-shirt. I like that. So in hearing that, so it could have been a conversation of, babe, look, this commute is becoming too much for me. I'm now being miserable at home. I'm miserable at work. We need to find a way to get out of the house. We need to figure the business out. Like, we need to move closer. I am living at my cousin's house and I see you on the weekends. I'm not a father and I'm not a husband. Like, this is not satiating me. What can we do? Not verbatim, because somehow, some way that'll hurt somebody's feelings. So adjust. You are the expert on your life. There it is. You are the expert of your life. You are the expert of the person you are with. So take my words, paraphrase it, rewrite it, Use the creativity that was sucked out of you by our educational system and find a way to communicate to the person that you say that you love. This could be a simple, hey, babe, we got to build a bridge real quick, versus a tornado of our own demise has device. We've created a tornado of our own.
You're really struggling over there today, huh?
I'm really trying to be intentional with my words. So I'm trying to learn new words, and I want to implement the words and use them. That way they become a part of my vocabulary and not just a word on my screen that I read for 10 seconds. I'm trying to evolve my speech.
Okay.
I want to be Jordan B. Peterson. I want to be elegant and graceful and have poetry to the way that I speak. This is me sanding the wood of my words. I'm willing to make a fool of myself to grow.
That's cool. At least you're okay with it. I'm not. I get embarrassed way too easy for that shit.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm struggling with words, guys. I'm trying to grow here. But we've created a tornado of our own. Fuck, I just fucked that up. We have created our own tornado that has fucked up our own homes. This is me getting just comfy back in my own regular language as I'm trying to evolve my speech.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could have happened in all of that. Him making the choice to not make the drive and staying at his cousin's house was a decision.
It was
that
a
drove a
decision.
wedge between his family and himself. That was a choice. He did that. But we're not there.
Right.
I don't know how the conversations went or if there even was conversations between all of this. I don't believe that the commute was the actual issue. I believe that there was marital problems there, or he was unhappy, or she was unhappy and he didn't want to be around. Maybe he's super fucking exhausted by the time he gets home and the kids are a problem. So he just knows that if he stays at his cousin, he can lock himself in a room and fucking go to bed and relax and rest.
Right.
And doesn't have to partake in the family shit.
That's why I made the radium analogy.
Yeah. I think there's more to it than the commute.
Our plan was to sell home A and live in home B. It didn't work out. Kids and I returned to home A while he remained in home B. That is where we are now. The issues are that our communication is an absolute wreck. I feel like I am holding up the whole family. When we were still living together in home B, he was unemployed for over a year and had a serious drinking problem.
I wish there was time frames in all of this.
Yeah. I hired a nanny to be at home with the kids while I worked 40 plus hours a week, even though he was at home. He did no chores, no yard work, no kid appointments, nothing. He would isolate himself from the family, choosing video games over family time. I do ask for help, but I do not nag. I feel that he should want to take care of his responsibilities, but I think I made his life too easy, and he had no need to follow through since the nanny and I had it all covered. We had no intimacy, no sex, and no friendship. I am currently in home A with 3 kids, run the business, and work outside of the home 40 plus hours a week. I am the only parent caring for the kids physically and emotionally. I take them to their activities, make sure their homework is done, laundry, home care, and that they are having good lives like camping and stuff. If he comes over on the weekend, it is for one night, probably 24 hours. 1 p.m. to 1 p.m. before he needs to head home to mentally prepare for the week. He works in construction. We don't talk.
This email is all over the place. It's all over the place.
Why is it all over the place? Because I'm following it.
Because it is all over the place. I'm following it too. Mm-hmm. But it went from a commute to them not living together, to them living together, to him not working for a year and being an alcoholic and depressed, to not being a part of the kids' lives, to now living back somewhere else, having a job in construction, only being there for 12 hours at a time on the weekend, 1 day a week. It's just all over the place. There's no
There's no structure.
It's not conducive to a timeline. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm in the butterfly effect. We're jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing, and that's not how. This is a trauma dump. This is not helping solve shit.
Okay.
And that's not me being shitty. Like we there's not even enough information there to really talk about things. Like she said, I'm not nagging. I ask questions. She also said that they had marriage counseling at one point. Like there's a whole lot of things that we should be able to talk about, but because it's jumping from thing to thing to thing. Where's our communication about what's happening in the email going to take place?
So one thing that I caught is that she is a single mom.
Doing it all on her own.
Married to a man, right?
No, but
she
yes.
is.
Married to a male.
A male. okay, not a man, a male. She is essentially a single mother. She is the sole parent for the children. They go to her with emotions. They go to her with troubles. They go to her with their basic survival needs. She's maintaining a household. There's not a nanny anymore. She has a fuck buddy who comes over one night a week.
Well, she said they're not having sex. So she doesn't even
That's
have that.
still not happening?
We don't know because the email's jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing.
Okay.
I guess just read because she said this is the life story. So maybe it'll get to something that's more relevant than what happened.
I think this is painting a picture of...
A negative picture of him. Not of her and the way that they dealt with things and the way that they were working through problem solving and how marriage counseling went and how the conversations went when she was trying to explain to him what was going on. This is her shitting on his actions for her life story.
It's still painting a picture, though.
It is a negative one of him. This is not a helpful scenario. There's nothing here that I can give advice to or even like properly process because it's jumping from so many things so quickly that there's not enough information to even have
for you to
discussions.
formulate an opinion on anything. I get it. Back into the email. He may text me once a night to say goodnight, but does not ask about my day. He gives me no room to discuss family issues or my struggles. I feel completely dismissed. He will tell me that I need to reach out to him. Today I called him to ask. Today I asked him to call me before he went to bed. He said okay, but asked why I needed that. I told him I wanted an actual conversation. During the phone call, I asked why he doesn't call. He says he needs to be in a great mood to talk. I responded that I don't need him in a great mood, that I just want to connect. He said, but I do. I pointed out that that would limit our conversations, and he does see that. He said, I do, but that's how it is. I know that is not enough, and I'm pissed. The issue is that when I do spend the night, he will make sure that I have the drinks I like or the good chocolate, but that isn't enough. Okay, I thought he was coming to their house. So she's going, okay.
That's what I'm saying. The email is not coherent.
So what I'm getting from this, there's a lot of like you said, this is a very selfish painting that we're getting from her.
Right. And it's making him look like a completely selfish prick.
From one perspective, I agree. Yes. I am also getting a sense that this man is fucking exhausted. He just said he needs to be in a great mood to talk. I get that. When I am depressed and I am frustrated and I am sad and I feel like I am in the rat race of my own creation, because I've been in that. I have fucked my life up to the point where I was in an apartment not figuring out how I was going to pay rent and I have 2 kids. There is a self-loathing there. There's a self-hatred. There is a recognition there that I don't have the person laying in my bed that I love or a person laying in my bed that I love because I can't fucking get along with people. I don't know how to talk to people. That's just my personal thing, right? So from that lens of my experience, hearing him say that I have to be in a great mood to talk, when I was in my mad depression, like deep in the thick of it, there was no sunshine. I didn't want to talk to anybody unless I was complaining about my life. And nobody wants to hear you complain about your life when that's all you talk about. So I wasn't fucking talking to anybody. When was the last time you asked him how his day was going?
Well, he said that he needed that.
That he wants her to reach out?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I want to go back, though, because before we move too far past that, I had a 6-year depression.
You did.
Where I was forced to talk to people, right? Because I'm a business owner and I have employees and I have friends and family and people that I have to socialize with. Just because you're not in a good mood doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to have a conversation with your wife. If you are one of those people who just can't talk to somebody when you're in a bad mood and you live in a depressive state, you need to fix that. That's a you problem. That's not her problem. Mm-hmm. I don't think that, I don't know. I don't like the way that this is jumping around and I'm having a very hard time understanding because we don't know. Did he really move out because of the communication or the commute? There's obviously lack of communication here. There's a whole lot of things that aren't being communicated properly. Things aren't getting resolved. She's making it sound like he's super selfish.
She does make him sound like he's selfish, like he's not attentive enough. He's not present enough, loving enough, nurturing enough.
Yeah.
And from her perspective, that could be the case.
It could be.
100%, because your perception is your reality.
They're also living two separate lives.
100%. I could not live in a separate household from you.
Yeah.
A 24-hour period where I get to spend time with you.
They are literally living two separate lives and are so disconnected that they can't have a conversation with each other.
No.
This sounds like a marriage out of obligation, and there's no real knowing of what's going on.
Right.
So much so that he could be living an entirely different life, and because she only talks to him a little bit at a time, there's no way of knowing. He could have an entire separate family.
He could. The issue is, when I do spend the night, he will make sure I have the drinks I like or the good chocolate, but that isn't enough. When I cave in, as in continue the relationship, still no sex, after a can of wine and a chocolate, I know that I am saying that is what my worth is, and fuck that. But do those small things mean he still cares? But then his actions tell me otherwise, or that we aren't worth it.
Are you saying that his level of caring about you stops with the chocolate and wine?
I think she's taking that as like he's trying to wow her to have sex. She's withholding sex.
Is that how you took that?
That is how I'm taking that.
Okay.
Because she's willing to continue the relationship because he's trying, but I'm not going to have sex with you because my worth isn't about my sex.
Okay. See, I took it as they just weren't having any, as in like
Yeah.
they were in a sexless marriage. Because that could be a thing for people. But so are you saying that people have to give you gifts in order to care for you? Because I care for a lot of people that I would never give them anything unless they were in dire need. I'm not giving them shit because I reserve my gift giving. Like that's not something that I do for just anyone. I don't understand how come that is equated to caring. Like that doesn't make sense to me. The issue in all of this is that they're disconnected as fuck and they're just stringing this along for no reason.
You don't think there's a solution here?
No, because they are living two totally different lives at this point. They hang out for 1 day a week. He makes sure that she has her favorite drink and chocolate there, and then what do they do for the rest of the night? We have no idea. Do they watch Netflix? Do they talk? Do they play games?
argue?
Do they go to karaoke? Do they play darts? Do they shoot pool? Do they sit on the couch and hold her feet? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. All I'm getting is that he's not doing enough.
Okay, so I'm not even going to finish the email. If you would like to email in again and include more information, that way we can actually formulate thoughts and opinions, and
Have him write in.
or if you want to join our Patreon, you can have a Zoom call with us.
There is so much more to life than your little pinhole perspective of it.
Right.
You are trying to get help from something where you have given bullet points that are super fucking vague with no detail. There's no way for us to I don't want to say diagnose because that would indicate that we're therapists or whatever. We're not trying to diagnose, but there's no way to problem solve the situations when we don't know what the actual problem is.
Right.
This is all her opinion.
There were a lot of words with no information.
Right.
Definitely painted a picture, though.
Yeah, I did.
Reaching out / question step parent related.
Okay.
Hey all, I absolutely love your podcast and binge watch it often.
Love that. Thank you.
Thank you. I figure I shoot my shot and reach out for your opinion on a situation I deal with within my relationship. My husband and I have been married for 3 years now, together for 5 years. We both have children, me, and a child, my husband, from a previous relationship, and our baby.
Okay, so they have 3 kids total.
Yes.
Okay.
While my children look at my husband as their bonus father and respect him as much, his daughter does not treat me with the same respect.
Well, she's a child. He's an adult, so
Right.
there's that.
I'm going to be honest. I don't expect anybody under the age of 25 to act like an adult.
No.
I mean, there are certain expectations. If you are living on your own, I do expect you to be able to survive, right? But when it comes to communication skills and being able to have super in-depth, heavy conversations without getting overly emotional, I don't expect somebody under 25 to be able to have that conversation without there being that disruption. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
because there's a learning process to being a human being.
Right.
And some people get that later in life than some others. So I do try to have grace with the younger population.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to kids, there's, divorce actually traumatizes children. Not all, but some. And knowing that he treats your kids like a bonus dad, and you're not getting the same respect from his daughter because we haven't gotten very far in the email, there could be a whole lot of reasons for that.
Right.
But the ultimate one is that she's a child and you're an adult. We also don't know how old she is. So are we
Right.
dealing with a 5-year-old with an attitude, or are you dealing with an 18-year-old or 17-year-old that you're not my mom?
Right.
How dare you tell me what to do because you think at 17, 18, 19 years old that you fucking know everything?
Back into the email, it has gotten to the point where my children notice the difference as far as rules and expectations go because the children that live under our roof versus my stepdaughter who lives with her mother.
Okay. So there's a whole lot that's being said right there as well. They're parallel parenting instead of co-parenting.
Correct.
Okay.
That definitely says a lot. So there might be a little bit of rough waters to navigate with the biological mother. So that can certainly make things difficult on a child. Children do not need to be privy to adult situations, adult conversations.
No, especially when there's beef between two parents.
Right. So if that's going on, it is 100% fucking that child up right now.
Yep.
It is definitely going to be something that she's going to have to process through later on and come to the understanding of, and it's going to be so hard for her because they're her parents. So definitely, like I said, have grace there.
Also, the reality there, she hasn't said if her child's father's in the picture.
Right.
So we don't know how they co-parent. We don't know the status of their relationship, how close they are or not close they are, if they are vindictive and shit-talking each other to the child. Like, we don't know how the relationship on that side of things.
Right.
We also don't know how the biological mom's behavior is towards you, or if the daughter goes home and says, well, so-and-so locked me in my room all weekend. And then biological mom starts running her fucking mouth, making the kid hate you even more. Or the rule structure is different. Maybe biological mom is somebody that lets the kid do whatever the fuck they want to do while they scroll on their phone, and you and your husband are trying to be active, present parents. It's going to be a very big transition to go from being able to do whatever the fuck you want to having somebody over top of you for a day or two a week, if you even have that, because we don't know how long they're there. Are they there for a
Right.
day? Are they there for 2 days? How do you expect to develop a relationship with a child, truly develop a relationship with a child, when you've only seen them for a day a week? It's not going to happen.
Right.
Do your kids live with you, and the kid that you have together live with you? So he's the bonus dad because those two kids are around him 24/7 and live under a structured roof? Not happening if the kid's going back and forth, unless you're co-parenting. And parallel parenting and co-parenting are two different things.
Correct.
Details. Need the details.
My stepdaughter seems to be continually lying, which is one of my absolute biggest pet peeves, and has gone back to her mother, making up stories that I have said.
So she's playing both sides against the middle.
She is. So fall back on, she's a child. Right? I would have a conversation, depending on how old is this kid? You haven't said. If this is a 5-year-old, I would limit interactions with the 5-year-old. Like if I hate that I'm saying and like. If I am watching all 3 children, right? Dad's at work and I'm the only one here. Children are going to interact. I lied. I would not limit conversations with the child. Why are you doing that? I would try to catch them in lies. I know that's a lie. Why did you just lie to me? And I would probe that. Young kids like to have fun. If you make it a fun conversation, they will tell you anything because they enjoy spending that time with you. Children bond through playtime. If this is a 11 or a 12-year-old, you can have a more mature conversation of, I know you're going to your mom and I know you're lying about things that I'm saying to you. Why are you doing that? And don't be shitty about it. This isn't going to be a you're in trouble conversation. Kid's going to do it whether she's in trouble or not. She's going back to her mom's house. Can't do anything when she's at her mom's house.
Maybe she just doesn't want to be there and she's trying to not have to go over there anymore.
And have that conversation if it needs to be had. If you don't want to be here, why don't you want to be here?
Kids lie.
Yes, they do.
Especially if they had overbearing parents and they're always in trouble. Or they realize they can manipulate somebody with some bullshit.
Yeah. I've caught our kids in a couple of lies.
Yeah.
And I don't yell. I don't get super mad at them. I catch them in the lie and I just look at them. They start crying. I'm like, why'd you lie to me? Because they know it's wrong to lie.
Right.
And they just get super upset. And I'm like, no, I'm very disappointed right now. And you've hurt my feelings by lying to me. I need a minute. And they can go outside and play. They can go to their bedrooms and relax. They can do whatever they want to do. They just know that I'm upset with them, and that kills them on the inside because they want our approval. They want to be accepted by the clan, that human instinct. Her mother believes everything she says as if it were being spoken by God, and it is beyond infuriating to me. Since I feel as if my husband does not stick up for me in the full capacity he should, the lying is very obviously a learned behavior, as her mother will continue to lie about things to my husband. Instead of calling her out on it, my husband just ignores the lies. So now addressing the dad's behavior, right? If you and the stepmother or you and the biological mother have issues, limit conversations to just about the child. If pointing out a lie is going to do nothing but cause an argument and disruptions and not change the fact that the biological mother is going to lie, you know what's truth, you know what's fake. I mean, yeah, you know what's truth, you know what's not. Take everything she says with a grain of sand. If she starts lying about the child, then we're going to address that. I don't care if she's lying about who she talked to on a Tuesday. When it comes to the child, you have to let that child know what they are doing to make people not like them. Children who grow up without friends grow up into adults without friends, and adults without friends become, there is depression, there is a social anxiety, there is the craving for human connection, the desire for human connection, but no clue how to get that, no clue how to initiate that. Now that the kids are developing their personalities further, our own children, I am starting to point out things. I don't like it when you do that.
Right.
When you do that, I don't want you around me. And it hurts their feelings and they get a little bit sad. They need to recognize, though, when you go out into society and you want to be an asshole or you want to be vindictive and you want to lie to get your way, people will not want to be around you.
Yep. And that's got to be taught.
It does have to be taught.
You see it a lot in kids who don't have real life social interactions and only play video games. They grow up to be socially awkward.
Right.
Right.
They don't know how to have conversations.
Right. And I'm not saying that it's all kids, because every time the video game thing gets brought up, people get super fucking defensive over it. But
relax, guys. We're not attacking you. It's just a conversation.
Right. But we all know those people who live their entire life playing video games and their only social interactions are over a microphone. They can't read body language. They don't know when a conversation's over or when to walk away. Like,
right.
You know, and then there's going to be, of course, there's always going to be people, well, those people could be autistic. We're not talking about those kinds of people. I'm not talking about autistic people. I'm talking about people who are socially awkward because they lack social interaction. I've actually gotten those comments. How do you know they're not autistic? Because this is a made up scenario. In my made up scenario, I'm not talking about fucking autistic people. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That whataboutism.
Yeah. What ifs? The what ifs.
Oh, that gif of Robert Downey Jr. I think he's Tony Stark Iron Man when he does the massive like temple rub. That's exactly right behind my eyeball is where that feeling originates when I hear comments like that.
Yep. People want to find a way to make the story about their lens.
Do you guys just want to be a part of the conversation? Are you feeling left out? Is that your social anxiety presenting itself? Is this a cry for help? During a couples therapy session about the situation, my husband has explained he does not feel as if he should fight the fight because he will not see his daughter. His daughter was kept from him the first year of her life and does not want to go through that again. However, with my husband allowing these actions to happen, it not only has escalated the terrible situation with his daughter, but creates tension between myself and him. So it has driven a wedge between his daughter and I to the point I do not even want to say anything so will not be misconstrued, or choose to remove myself from my home when she is there, or not go to an event where she will be. You're being so petty with a child right now. This is a child. This is a baby. oh, that little girl's going to be at the event, I'm not going.
Yeah, well, she's manipulative. And the issue is not the child. The issue is the mother that's going to create problems when the child goes home because the child is manipulating the situation.
Right.
So she is letting the child win because she's trying to protect her peace because she can't do anything about it. The husband's not defending her. He's not stepping up to the plate and doing what he's supposed to be doing. And his excuse is, I'm afraid I won't be able to see my daughter. Mm-hmm. When the answer to this is, okay, so then we should get a lawyer and go ahead and have custody rights set so that she can't play these games. There should have been a mediation that happened when the divorce happened between him and her, if they were even married, where there's a clause where they can't talk shit about each other to the child, because that is in a lot of court documents. This situation comes down to his failure as a husband to handle his family,
right?
Because he's afraid he's going to lose his other child. There are ways around that. You guys just don't want to do the work because it's easier to just ignore the situation than it is to start spending money, fighting the court battle, creating extra barriers and steps that you have to go through because there's an unknown there, and people who haven't done that yet don't know how to deal with the shit.
Right.
I do think it's petty, and there, I think on her side of things, I understand the protecting the peace thing, but I would still, if your kids are going to events and she's going to be there, are you willing to not see your kids' cheerleading practice or graduation because the third child is coming in? Because what is that doing to your kids?
Right.
You don't have to go to the third kid's graduation. She's not yours. You can step right the fuck out of that picture and be like, and I think that's acceptable.
I agree.
Because husband's not doing his part to make sure that his family currently is taken care of.
As a woman and as a mom, in my mind and in my soul, it is my duty to be a role model for all of the women in the world, right? Even if I didn't have a platform, right? If my husband and I never created the podcast and people didn't care about the things that I had to say, I would still go out of my way to be a soft, gentle soul for a woman who's going through it or a little girl who needs some love. I understand that this child is causing a lot of grief in your life, and it's frustrating, and you're mad at your husband, and the stepmom is being a massive bitch right now.
The
it's
biological mom. She's the stepmom.
The stepmom, the biological mom. The biological mom. That's a lot. And emotionally, I can see how that would wear you down. You don't feel like a priority. You don't feel like your feelings matter. You feel like a child is walking on you and your husband is just allowing it to happen. I understand that. And all of that is assumed. All of that could be totally off base.
But before you continue, you can take it a step further and acknowledge the fact that the home is being disrupted as well.
Correct.
Okay.
So everybody's life is being fucked up. And as a mom, there's nothing you can do for your biological children in this situation where the stepsister's coming in and you guys just have to accept the behavior, right? Logically, right? Now you got to remove yourself from the situation, right? This is a little girl, assuming a little girl. We don't know how old she is. This is a child who's going back and forth between two homes. Her father is now with another woman who's not her mom. There are 2 additional children in her life who she has to compete for attention for. There is a biological mother who, by your description, sounds like she is a woman with actions who is unbecoming of her. I'm really working on my speech. That's good, isn't that? This child is... Okay. Children grow up looking to the same-sex parent as their Superman. This little girl is looking to her mom as Wonder Woman. She is going to mimic everything her mom does. She wants to do everything her mom does. And she is doing it to your guys' home. There has to be a point where somebody has to be the eye of the hurricane for this little girl. And there's no wind, there's no rain, there's no judgment, there's no frustration, there's no anger, there's no lies. And there's just a conversation of, I'm sorry if you feel I've done something, like lie to you or say something to hurt your feelings. Me personally, this is me talking if I were a stepmom. I care about you. I know that I'm not your mom, but I am a woman and I do have love for you and you matter to me. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to have everyday interactions. I just want you to know that I am here for you and I care about you. After that conversation, if that little girl continued doing what she is doing, I would continue positive affirmations. Good morning, sunshine, when she walks into the room, make breakfast for everybody. I would go out of my way to give her a little bit of extra love. Just so she knows in the middle of the hurricane and the tornado that is the divorce of her parents, somebody sees her and she matters. That would be my course of action.
My course of action would be the emailer and her husband sitting down and having a structured set of rules that are going to be adhered to in the home. And it needs to be enforced by both of them, because the stepdaughter coming in and being able to do whatever the fuck she wants in the house and manipulate the situation to disrupt the peace in the home
Is a problem.
is a fucking problem. And it's affecting the entire house, not just the stepmom.
Right.
And if her husband is not willing to create those boundaries to protect the sanctity of the home, then it shows where she lands and where their joint children land in the priority of things.
Correct.
Because he's putting the woman and the child above his current family, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
If that woman and that child mattered so much and was such a priority to this man, he should have made that work instead of creating another family and moving on and not being with that woman.
Right. I agree 100%. I was just getting ready to say, if you are a parent who is getting ready to commit yourself to somebody who is willing to commit themselves to you and your children, they above all else. There have been a couple of times where I've had to have a uncomfortable conversation for me with the children's biological father due to my anxieties or whatever it was. I was putting off a conversation because of all my what if it goes this way? What if this is his response? And it came to a point where you're like, babe, you need to have these conversations. Like, you need to sit down and you need to talk to him. And if I didn't, it would then create tension in our home.
Yes, it would.
And
because you're not having the conversations out of a fear of what if.
Right. So that what if is creating real reality problems.
Right. That fear of the what if, it comes from previous life experiences and the fear of the unknown.
Right.
Well, what if they do this? And what if this happens because of that? Well, then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But if you don't have the conversations and nothing ever changes, I can tell you that this is not a what if. This is what's going to happen if these situations are not corrected.
Right.
So you need to have those hard conversations and you need to set those boundaries. And if you need to get a lawyer, get a fucking lawyer and protect your rights to see your children.
Yeah. If you as a parent are not ready to stand up for your now wife or your now husband and the house structure that you have, do not bring a step parent into your chaos. Figure out what needs to be done within your household. Figure out your co-parenting situation and understand where your priorities lie.
This situation comes down to the man, in my opinion. All of this comes down to the father.
I agree. I think that as the stepmom, she can have a supporting role. I think with where the biological father has put her within the family dynamic, she has a very limited supporting role.
Right. She could also reach out to that woman.
She could.
And be like, hey, look, our households are really fucking divided right now. I know that we have different rule structures. Your daughter's clearly not okay. There's a lot of lying happening. I'm worried about her future. Can we sit down and have lunch and just try to get on the same page?
Right.
Because at that point, it doesn't even have to be an attack. You don't have to try to tell her how to parent. You need to have a conversation about the kid. If the kid is a pathological liar and she's manipulating situations, there's a very real possibility that she could grow up to become a narcissist or, end up becoming somebody who is very alone in life because she can't have a normal relationship with people because she doesn't know how to interact in social settings.
Correct.
But if the husband's not doing his fucking duty as a husband and as a father and trying to protect all of that and make all of that work and setting healthy boundaries, are you both willing to just let the kid fucking fall into those things because nobody else is willing to step up? Somebody's got to be the adult.
I couldn't imagine acknowledging that there is a issue emanating from one of our children, ignoring it because of the way that it makes us feel, and then the destruction that could follow afterwards because we slipped as parents.
Right.
I would be guilt-ridden for the rest of my life.
Yeah, most people don't feel that way, though. It's easier to stick your head in the sand and just wait for this moment to pass. That's a lot of people's mentality.
Yeah.
Because people don't like conflict anymore, and confrontation makes us uncomfortable. Because we become so soft as a society that the hard conversations have become too fucking hard. They're just words. They're just conversations.
Right.
If you're not willing to have the hard conversations, your life will be exactly what it is. Actually, I take that back. Your life will be exactly what others define your life to be. Because you're not willing to speak up and have a voice and defend yourself and set those boundaries, because nobody's coming to save you. If you let people treat you like a fucking doormat, you will be a doormat. That's all there is to that. You have to be the one to like look out for you and speak up and take charge of your fucking surroundings instead of just going, this sucks. Let's quit.
So not attending things because a child will be there. This frustrates my husband, which I understand. But the disrespect that is directed towards me and my children by his daughter is unbearable. There's an update.
Before you get into the update, I understand that from her. But I don't understand it from her because of the child. I understand it for her because of the husband not doing what needs to be done. You can suck it the fuck up and deal with the fact that it's a kid and kids have attitudes and they can be a problem. And you can still choose to be the bigger person because you're the adult.
Right.
The issue that you should be having is not with the kid. It should be with your husband.
With your man failing to be your man.
And you should go to those events and support that kid, because one day that kid's going to be an adult and look back and go, hey, I was really shitty to you as a child and you still showed up. When other people would have walked away, you showed up. And what's going to happen one day where something really horrific happens and her mom doesn't answer the phone and she doesn't want to tell her dad, who else is she going to call? Because you showed up.
Yep.
The issue needs to be with the husband, not with the child.
Okay, the update is we found out that she told her mother that my husband was pulled over while driving and arrested with her in the car.
Wow.
That is why she is afraid of police. This never happened. My husband, again, did not say anything to her about the lying, which infuriated me. Okay, I really need to know how old this child is. Because if this is like a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, kids will say things just to say things.
Yeah, but they would have had to hear that. Kids aren't going to make that up. That I'm afraid of police thing.
Yeah.
Dad got yanked out of the car and arrested. That's societal, social justice, social media.
Tablet.
Be afraid. Yeah, be afraid of the police bullshit.
Tablet teaching.
Right. She's got to be a teenager or close to a teenager. And she probably has access to social media and she's finding ways to manipulate. She doesn't want to be there. Or she's looking for attention because mom probably has her full time, is not present.
Yeah.
And the only time that she can get attention from her parents is when she's stirring the fucking pot, because kids will seek negative attention over no attention at all. Yep.
Right. They will seek negative attention instead of no attention at all, because that falls into what I was saying earlier. You have to correct them when they do things that people do not like.
Right.
You're annoying when you do that. Stop it.
Yep.
Chewing with the mouth open. No one's going to want to eat with you if you chew with your mouth open. Stop it. That's my biggest pet peeve.
This kid needs to see a therapist.
100%.
Yep. You guys need to go to family counseling. All of you need to go to family counseling.
Yes.
And that child needs to sit down one-on-one with a therapist, because in the event that she is a pathological liar, there could be something deeper going on. And you guys need to get to the root of that as well. There could be a diagnosis that could help you understand, that could teach you coping tools, like
Really deep-rooted trauma.
Yeah.
Absolutely blows my mind that the father did not say anything about the child saying that he was arrested. How is that not a conversation? Does he not care? That comes across as not caring about your child to me. I am so intrigued by our children.
Well, the conversation wouldn't have been with this child. It would have been with his ex. You got arrested? What the fuck? She was in the car with you? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing this. Maybe she's super combative to him and it's easier for him to just dismiss her than it is to actually have the conversations. Because that's also very real for people.
Right.
Some people aren't worth the energy that they're throwing at you. However, now there's allegations being made that he's an unfit parent.
Right.
What would have happened if she would have went to Child Protective Services and said that my ex-husband was arrested with my daughter in the car? I would like to have visitation now supervised. An argument needs to be had in those situations. Dudes, you could lose your kid over that. You need to get a fucking lawyer.
I agree.
Let your lawyer argue with your crazy ass ex so that you don't have to.
I think there should definitely still be a conversation with the child. of why are you lying? Why did you say this?
Yeah.
If he's only talking with the ex about these conversations and he never asks the child, why did you say this? How do we even know the child's actually saying it and the mom's not just making shit up?
It's true. It should be confronted in front of the mom. Why would you tell your mom that I was arrested when we were in the car? That never happened. Why would you lie like that?
Right. And the kid goes, I never said that. What do you mean you didn't say that? Your mom told me. Well, no, that doesn't need to be said. That does not need to be said. Never mind. Process that internally. If the kid says, I never said that, probe a little bit further and say, what do you mean you never said that? I heard you said X, Y, and Z. You need to collect data. You need information. Because if the mom is being super vindictive and is just saying these things to drive a wedge further between the father and the daughter, because why would you want to have a connection with a child that's lying about you?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. This situation needs legit therapy. There's something going on with that kid, or like you said, the ex-wife could be making all of it up, but I don't think that that's the case.
Yeah.
I think what's more likely is that kid is attention starved and there's something going on with the child and these things are actually happening. Mm-hmm. And like they said earlier, the mom believes the child could do no wrong and believes everything that she says, which means the child knows that she can manipulate the situations because mom's not going to fight her on it. So it's feeding that perpetual lying and manipulating because the kid's getting whatever the fuck they want, which when they become adult, it's not going to.
Oh, they're going to get a very rude awakening.
Right.
Yeah. Back into the email.
Yep.
She has also been lying about medical things to us, telling us she's had surgery for something when she hasn't. I understand kids and white lies. While it isn't the greatest, it's like every other thing out of this kid's mouth is a bold-faced lie. That's the update.
Yep. Got nothing more to add. I've already hit on everything I needed to say.
Okay. Do you want to do another email?
Do one more because I'm going to have to cut some of this from us getting up and shit.
Okay. This one is titled, Help Needed If You Can, from a YouTube subscriber.
Okay. Like that they're subscribed on YouTube.
Me too.
Hey, if you guys haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple, or any of the streaming services, you are missing a ton of content over on YouTube. We have so much that goes on YouTube that never makes it onto the streaming services because YouTube is our main platform. You are able to listen to YouTube podcasts the same way that you can listen to Spotify podcasts. Especially if you're paying for Spotify Premium, you can pay for the YouTube Premium and not get any ads, and it'll play with your phone closed. Yep. So we have hundreds and hundreds of hours. I actually said in the last episode we had 3,000 hours of content. I was wrong.
Oh, what do we have?
I was way wrong. It was like maybe 1,000, maybe. I was basing it off of 100 episodes. We haven't hit 100 episodes yet. Oh. But I was trying to because we had the podcast, the side piece, the side show, the book breakdowns, the live streams. There's got to be over 1,000 hours of content, but I was basing it on 100 episodes.
Yeah. Because
our first 40 episodes between everything was 2 to 3 hours a piece.
Right.
But yeah.
I miss the book breakdowns. I like that I'm doing it on The Garden.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So for those of you who would like to watch those are on The Garden episodes, which is exclusive to Patreon. Although we did release part 1 and part 2 of Proper Care and Feeding of a Husband on YouTube, just so you guys can see what they look like. But the rest of that will be Patreon content.
First off, I want to say I absolutely love your content and greatly appreciate all the hard work and dedication you two put into this for all of us. I, for one, benefit immensely from it. As someone who's been newly diagnosed with bipolar and is in a healthy relationship after a previous 8-year toxic one, listening to you guys in addition to therapy has helped my communication and accountability styles change drastically. Now to get to the point of this email. This is not so much a relationship advice question as it is a life, wealth, health advice question. To preface, if this is an uncomfortable topic, by no means do I expect a reply. However, after hearing how you helped your wife get her finances straightened out, I want to ask a few questions. My fiance and I have been together for a little over 1.5 years, and financially, we both are solid. Me, a little more so than him, and I will go into detail on that in a second.
Before you move forward, if we actually answer any financial questions, we are not financial advisors, financial planners. We are none of that. We are not licensed for this conversation. Anything that we say moving forward for the rest of this email for all of this podcast is all opinion based. So we can give you what we would do or what we have done, but it is not advice telling you guys how to do shit. I'm really hung up on the people saying that we're not fucking licensed or in a position to have conversations. I think that that's stupid as fuck, but people need to understand that it's all opinion based.
Right.
So
that just goes to show that people very much are surface level complaining about us.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they actually paid attention to what we posted, we've never claimed any of that.
No, we've been stating this over and over again for a year.
We have disclaimers at the beginning of the podcast.
Yep.
Crazy. Into the email, I am 5 years older than him. Therefore, I have had a little more of my adult life to have my finances put together. I have also been married before for 8 years, the toxic relationship I mentioned before, and have 3 children.
I'm going to pause and just point out that because you're 5 years older doesn't mean shit.
Correct.
I know people who are 20 years older than me that are broke as fuck. Your age and your financial wisdom has nothing to do with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Therefore, I've had a lot of circumstances in my life to force me to grow up. I'm currently a manager for Walmart making $55,000 a year after taxes with yearly bonuses. I pay for benefits such as a 401k, Roth 401k, stocks, insurance, life and health, accident insurance, etc. I also am currently in school full-time with less than 1 year left till I graduate with my bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in marketing. I am also in a program with work that is built to promote me within the next year when I graduate. I own my own home and property in full, and the only utilities I have in my house are electric, gas, and insurance. Since we have well water, there is no water fee.
So you're just financially smart. Mm-hmm. You've made very good financial decisions.
Dope.
Because you've prioritized those things.
Mm-hmm. I have 1 car payment, a few credit cards, and 1 personal loan, which totals my debt to a little over $16,000.
Wow.
$12,000 of this debt is my vehicle.
I couldn't imagine having such a small amount of debt.
I was just thinking, how blissful.
Yeah, that shit changes when you have businesses.
It does. Good for you.
Technically, I don't have the debt either.
The business does.
Yeah, the business does, but
Yeah.
it's my responsibility to pay for it, so it's my stress. But anyways.
By proxy, I also stress about it because I am part of the income.
Yeah.
Me as an adult with an adult mindset am so impressed when people have their finances, like their financial life so well put together. I was so impressed by you when I met you.
Why?
Because you had your financial life put together.
No,
You're so smart with money.
I know what I want, and I know that if I died tomorrow and I had $10 million put away, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it.
Right.
So I make sure that we're financially taken care of as best as I can while still enjoying our life. Because I would rather have $1 million worth of fun than $1 million when I die. So
Right. Back into the email.
Yep.
I have consolidated all of my credit cards to 1 loan with a 3.4% APR. My personal loan is simply there to build my credit. I used a loan amount to auto pay the loan for a quick credit build.
Smart.
I have a 787 credit score, and I sit comfortably with my savings. My fiance, however, doesn't have the same situation. He is a blue-collar worker and has been his whole life. He works in partnership with his cousin, grading and tree servicing. Grading?
Yeah, making land flat.
Huh. It's not called leveling?
No, it's grading.
Look at that. Because of this, he has no pay stub, no benefits, no retirement,
He works under the table.
etc. However, he makes almost $10K more a year than I do. His credit score is 535 with very poor history. He had a rough life growing up, dropped out of school due to family issues, continued to take care of his disabled parents, raised a baby that wasn't his from the time he was 15 until just recently, and was in addiction for 7 years and recovery now for another 4. With all of this said, this man is amazing. He is a gentleman, loves me, works his ass off for me and our kids, proves over and over again he is willing to work and grow, and is the most patient human I've met. Plus, his communication skills are just superb. He has done 3 years of therapy through his recovery and deserves to heal these parts of his life too. I want to help him, to help us grow in life. I want to help him build his credit, get him a new truck this year, help get his business going, and get our life started. We live together and share finances and responsibilities. For obvious reasons, I control the money and bills right now since he literally has no bills. I utilize the money.
Wait. We're getting to, I don't know. I really thought that was going to be the end of the email, so I was waiting.
Okay.
He does have bills, but he's giving you the money to deal with it because if you guys live together, he is paying for some of the shit, right? Unless you're using that money to just put into your savings. But if that's the case, he's still contributing because he's giving you the money to handle it. You said that he's a great communicator. If he's a great communicator, I don't understand why the finances is a problem, because you can teach him how to handle his shit if you guys can talk about it.
Right.
The other thing that I want to talk about is that it takes 7 years for things to fall off of your credit. And I have seen credit companies manipulate the system to keep them on there longer, and you have to dispute them, right? So that you can get it to fall off to make your credit score go back up. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that you two have two very different life experiences. He was an addict and he's a blue collar worker with a trade. Mm-hmm. So he understands the work ethic, and he works daily income. So fast money goes fast. You look at every tattoo artist on the planet. Not every, I would probably say 85% of tattoo artists are broke.
Yes.
24/7, because they make their money and they spend their money, and they go to work the next day knowing they're going to make $1,000, and they spend that money knowing that they're going to, and they live in that perpetual consume because they know they can make the money back. It's a very different thing when you're working a 9-to-5 job with a set pay where you're going to make the same thing every single week. And that's all you're going to make. If you are a construction worker, a trade worker, a tattoo artist, or you're doing something where you're getting paid based off of your skill, the more you hustle, the more money you're going to make. Mm-hmm. So, but she also said working on getting his business because he's working for his cousin right now, which means he is capped at $65,000 a year.
Right.
So that kind of negates what I was saying before, although he could be getting side jobs to make that money. Mm-hmm. So has there been a conversation about paying off that old debt and like reaching out to credit card companies saying, hey, can I have this paid as agreed, or paid in full, paid as agreed letters? If I pay this debt, can we negotiate it? Has it been sent to a credit card company? Is it medical bills? HIPAA laws can make it so that you can dispute medical bills. There's a whole lot of things on that aspect that you should be able to do because you obviously know how to manipulate the credit game. Those conversations need to be had in the home and fixing that. We did that with yours. Mm-hmm. We removed a good chunk of your credit by disputing shit.
Yep.
So there's ways around a lot of that stuff. You just got to do the research on it. But the issue the biggest takeaway from all of this is that you said he's a great communicator, but he's not great with money, and you're handling the money. So I don't understand what the issue is. Maybe I just need to wait to the end of the email, but we were getting too far away and I didn't want to forget all that.
Okay. Those are very good points to hit.
I appreciate that. I was afraid I was going to forget them.
Want to help him build his credit, get him a new truck, help get his business going. No bills. Okay. I utilize the money into saving, bills, vacations, investments, emergencies, and necessities. The system we have works for how we live now, but I want to progress, and so does he. I have minimum knowledge on the way the market works for loans and interest rates, and how best to build from rock bottom. Although I didn't have anything set up for me in life, I don't have roadblocks the way my fiance does. Being a mother at 17 forced me to kick my life into gear fast and hard. This world is new to me, though, and I want to understand it to help him. Any advice? He has a trade in grading and excavation. Thank you for replying and any help you can provide.
I don't understand what she meant by roadblocks. What roadblocks does he have?
Oh, I have no idea.
He had a history.
Right.
That's life shit. That's not a roadblock. Mm-hmm. He made choices. He became an addict. Like he all the things that she said he did, those were his decisions.
Correct.
Those aren't roadblocks, those are choices. Just like he can make the choices to get a new truck and to open an excavating business if that's what he wanted to do. Granted, he would need a lot of money to buy an excavator, but you can start that business and rent those machineries. Mm-hmm. There are companies that rent big diesel equipment. It's not cheap, but you can include that in with the job until you're able to afford to buy an excavator or Miss 787 credit score, you finance one. They're hundreds of thousands of dollars for a big excavator, but you can get smaller, cheaper ones to get you started.
Right.
There are things that you can do in terms of starting an S Corp or an LLC and get loans for your LLC. You can get up to $50,000. This is all things that you need to research, though, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to do all of that on a podcast, because if I miss one step, people are like, that's not how you do it.
Right.
So, and that's not what we do. I'm not a licensed money guy. The fact that you've got a 401k and a Roth IRA is dope, because that's working towards your retirement. He should have one too. And if you have kids, you should create your Roth IRA for your kids as well. I would maybe cut back on the vacations for a year or two.
I was thinking that staycations.
Yeah, use that money to start the business. You can hire a lawyer to create your LLC for like $2,000 and have them deal with all that shit so that it's done. They file everything, and once the LLC is created or the S Corp, it's done. Once you have that, you can start going to credit unions and banks and applying for loans and credit cards. At first, they'll probably base it off of your credit, but you've got great credit, so you'd be able to get loans to do the things that you need to do to start a business. I don't know the excavating business well enough to know, but I would assume that you need an excavator to actually do those jobs. So maybe you continue working for someone while like putting the money away to buy one of those, or you find a company where you can rent them and how much it costs to rent them for $1, how much dollar amount per day, and then start going that route. But if he doesn't have the ability to market himself and doesn't know how to talk to people and quote jobs and do all of that shit, none of that's going to matter anyways, because it takes a lot to run a business. It's not just doing the job. If it was just doing the job, everyone would be a business owner.
Right. So I just did some math. If he's making $65,000 a year, he's making $1,250 a week.
Yep.
Right?
But it's under the table.
Under the table, right.
Which creates a problem because you can't show income. So getting loans and shit's a lot harder. And with a bad credit score, that's a problem too. This is where the S Corp would come into play.
Yeah. I was going to say you can start mowing lawns.
Right. Well, he could create the S Corp.
Right.
And all the money that he's making under the table, he can say, this is the money coming into my S Corp, and he can put it in the bank. If he has zero bills, he puts himself on a strict payroll. Say he makes $1,000 a week, even though it's $1,250. And then at the end of the month, he could take the additional, $1,000 and make a distribution of profits payment to himself so that he gets that full money. But then he's showing that he's making $65,000 a year on paper. So getting a loan is going to be a whole lot easier because they see you make $65,000 a year and you have no bills. Right. If everything is in your name and he lives with you, on paper, he has no bills. So, but you did the math. He's making $65,000 a year. What were you going to say?
Oh, I don't remember.
Sorry.
It's okay.
The issue though is that together you guys are making $120,000 a year. Right? Because she's making 55, he's making 65 plus her bonuses.
Right, yeah.
So you guys are in a six-figure income. I don't understand why you're not creating the business and to make that a multiple six-figure income. You could go from making $120,000 to making $300,000 or $400,000 a year, but it's going to take expenses and it's going to take costs and it's going to take research. And maybe this is where your marketing business degree that you're getting comes into play. So for the next year, you guys take no vacations, live as minimal as possible, put as much money as you can in the fucking savings account. When you get your degree and you understand the marketing aspect, you start the S Corp, you own the business, he works the business, and you guys become a power couple. Because not everybody's cut out to run a business.
Right.
There are people that will not deal with me based solely off of my appearance and me saying the F word so much. But they would talk to you because you don't curse like I do and you're feminine. Like you have to navigate those social circles. This is all there is to that. So
that was the end of the email.
That was the end of my thought process too. So that worked.
Okay, fantastic.
I think that I really think that financial freedom lies in being an entrepreneur.
I agree.
But I know that there's also financial ruin in being an entrepreneur if you don't understand how to make a business work.
What does that put us at?
It'll be under 2 hours, which is fine because we need to be an hour and a half roughly. So anything over an hour and a half is bonus for me.
Okay.
I like emails like that. And I would like to have the conversations, and I would rather talk to people, right? Because I have questions in that email. And if I could answer those questions or have those questions answered, I would be able to give you more advice, right? If I could talk to him, just having a 15 to 20 minute conversation with him would let me know whether or not I think he's capable of running a business.
Yeah.
Because not everyone is capable of doing that. And I can't stress that enough. Some of you guys want to be a business owner because you think you're going to get a 40-hour work week and take vacations and make a ton of money. And
No.
that's not the case. If you're not willing to work and your business be your priority and you fucking put in those hours all the time and constantly be on the clock and dealing with problem customers and quoting jobs and doing all of that shit, you don't need to be a business owner. But if you're one of those people who are like, I have no problem working. I don't mind being there. I don't mind quoting jobs. I don't mind answering emails at 8:00 at night after a fucking 14-hour workday. Like that might be your move, because you're going to get to a point where you don't have to do all of that. And eventually you can hire people to do that shit for you and do it during business hours and fucking, build your brand. And that changes your life. Mm-hmm. But you have to suffer before you get to that point. Nobody just starts a millionaire. So even Amazon and Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google were all created in somebody's garage.
Tesla,
yeah, same thing. Well, granted, he bought that from somebody who created their job in the garage, right? But it was a concept first. But all of that shit starts somewhere. Most of the people that start these start it with an idea and they just start working for it. But you have to be willing to work for it, not just dream about it. So for those of you who want to have one-on-one conversations with us, Zoom calls, or have couples like talks, we are offering that through our Patreon. We do Zoom calls every Sunday night on a live stream. If an email comes through and we can get both people to have a conversation and an email, we will get you guys on a Zoom call. Peaches and I will sit down and try to problem solve with you. We'll have conversations. The last email that we read about business would have been a great conversation for that. If that is something that you are wanting to do, I highly recommend joining our Patreon community. And then send an email. If you can get both sides of the story, that would be great. If it's only a one-sided thing, as long as you're not throwing shade on your person and blaming and trying to make them be the bad guy, we can normally help. Again, we are not licensed therapists. We are just two people trying to coach people about life because we have lived life experience, and we can help you guys through as best as we can. You have anything else that you would like to add? I would like to eat before we do anything. I have that premiere I got to do in 20 minutes. So.
Okay.
With that being said, guys, remember you are the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.